Chosen one, listen carefully, because the moment you paused before these words was not meant to plant fear within you, but to awaken you to a great transformation quietly taking shape in your life. I have led you through many turns, many delays, and even seasons when you believed nothing was progressing, so that today you would be mature enough to recognize the gentle call amid countless noises. You did not arrive here merely because of an accidental touch or an unconscious choice. An invisible thread has connected every step, every question, every uncertainty, and every night when you could not sleep, bringing you to this exact moment. I want you to know that something new is preparing to enter your life, but before your outward circumstances change, your heart must be ready to release the limitations that have remained for far too long. The world around you is passing through profound changes. Things once considered certain may become fragile. Systems people once depended upon completely may reveal their weaknesses, and many false values will no longer be able to conceal the emptiness within them. Yet, I am not saying this to make you panic or judge others. I do not want you to anticipate punishment for anyone, because mercy always remains open to sincere awakening. What I am doing is bringing truth into the light, so that each person has the opportunity to examine the path they are walking, and choose what is more righteous. When unstable structures begin to shake, do not immediately believe that all hope has been lost. Some structures must crack so that people will stop depending on outward appearances and return to values that cannot be taken away. Integrity, compassion, faith, love, and the ability to remain standing through adversity. For you, this transformation will carry a deeply personal mark. You may witness things that once progressed slowly suddenly begin to accelerate. A door that remained firmly closed may open in a way you never expected. An answer you waited for may arrive when you have almost stopped asking. A problem that once filled your mind with confusion may become clear through a single conversation, a revealed truth, or a moment in which you begin to see everything through new eyes. Do not assume that acceleration means everything will become easy. Sometimes, I hasten the ending of an unhealthy relationship, move you out of an environment that cannot nurture you, or bring an old plan to an end to protect you from the wrong path. Positive change does not always begin with a comfortable feeling, but it will always lead you toward deeper freedom, if you walk through it with faith and discernment. You have already recognized signs of this awakening within yourself. Conversations that once excited you may now feel empty. Certain old habits no longer bring the same satisfaction. Pleasures that once helped you temporarily forget your sadness now leave a greater emptiness when they end. You may feel exhausted by noise, no longer interested in meaningless arguments, and increasingly drawn toward a life of greater depth. There may be nights when you suddenly wake without knowing why, your heart full of thoughts, as though something deep within is reminding you that you can no longer continue living in the same way. Do not fear these changes. They do not necessarily mean you are losing yourself. Perhaps you are rediscovering the more authentic version of yourself that has been buried beneath expectations, pressures, and habits formed over many years. I know that at times you have wondered whether you are becoming too sensitive. You watch those around you continue with their ordinary lives, while something within you seems to be flowing in a new direction, refusing to remain satisfied with superficiality. You do not need to regard yourself as higher than others. nor should you believe that you alone understand what is sacred. Genuine awakening does not make you arrogant. It makes you more humble, more willing to listen, and more careful in the way you treat others. If what you are feeling truly comes from the light, it will lead you toward compassion rather than contempt, responsibility rather than illusion, and peace rather than obsession. I am not calling you to separate yourself from the world in fear, but to live within it with an awakened heart that is not easily pulled into chaos or deceived by promises without foundation. The greatest shaking will first take place in the way you view life. Things you once considered success may no longer hold the same attraction. You will begin to understand that a high position purchased at the cost of peace is not true advancement, that a relationship causing you to constantly doubt yourself is not healthy love, and that a life devoted only to external approval will never fill the emptiness within. When this truth becomes clear, you will no longer be able to return completely to your former unconscious way of living. You may attempt to continue as before, but your heart will no longer be at peace. This is not punishment. It is mercy, preventing you from falling asleep within a life smaller than the one you have been called to live. However, I want you to distinguish between a sacred calling and fear created by people. Do not believe that every disturbance is a sign of disaster, and do not allow extreme predictions to take away your peace. I do not guide you through panic. When I awaken you, I also give you wisdom to prepare. When I show you something that needs to change, I do not tell you to flee in chaos. I teach you to act through clear and deliberate steps. Care for the responsibilities before you. Nurture sincere relationships. Manage what you currently possess, and protect your mind from sources of information that only enlarge your anxiety. Faith does not mean closing your eyes to reality. Faith means looking directly at reality while still knowing that you can choose what is right, even when circumstances are imperfect. During this season of change, the roots within you will determine whether you remain standing. If you depend only on temporary emotions, you will be carried away by every piece of news and every spoken word. If you build your life upon the approval of others, you will become unstable when they turn away. If you place your worth in possessions, status, or outward appearance, you will become confused when those things change. Therefore, I am bringing you back to a stronger foundation. Be honest with yourself, preserve gratitude, practice forgiveness while maintaining boundaries, and stop nourishing what weakens you. Each day you choose peace instead of conflict, integrity instead of short-term benefit, and kindness instead of bitterness. You are sending your roots deeper into ground that no storm can easily uproot. You may not yet know what form the coming turning point will take. I am not asking you to understand the entire plan before moving forward. You only need enough light for the next step. Do what is before you with dedication. Speak the words that must be spoken with love. Leave what must be left behind with peace. Stop postponing a decision whose answer you already know deep within. Great change rarely begins with a loud action. It usually begins when you quietly refuse to continue agreeing with a way of life that drains you. From that small decision, the new road gradually appears. The right people begin to arrive, and opportunities start finding their way to you. I also want you to remember that being chosen does not mean you will never encounter trials. Being chosen means you are called to pass through trials in a different way. When others respond to chaos with more chaos, you are invited to remain calm. When bitterness spreads, you are called to protect your kindness. When many pursue what is easy, you are taught to remain faithful to what is right. These qualities will carry you through seasons of instability without causing you to lose yourself. You do not need to know everything that will happen. You only need to know that you will not abandon discernment, love, or faith, simply because the world becomes uncertain. Therefore, my beloved child, do not treat the restlessness within you as an enemy. Listen to what it is trying to reveal, then carry those feelings into stillness so that you can discern them clearly. What no longer fits? What needs healing? Where are you being called to go? Do not answer hastily according to a temporary desire, but do not continue avoiding the truth. I am doing something new within you, not through spectacle, but through a profound restoration. Doors will open at the right time. Clarity will come when you are ready. And what once caused you to wait will become the foundation that teaches you to value the gift you are about to receive. Stand firm. Keep your heart pure and walk with awareness. As the world changes, you will not be swept away, because I am teaching you to become someone who carries peace into chaos, hope into weariness, and light into the very moments when many believe every path has closed. My child, before we go deeper into what is being revealed, if these words are touching the most genuine part of you, express your agreement through a clear action right now. You may press the like button as a sign that you are ready to receive this reminder. Subscribe so that you do not miss the messages of encouragement that follow, and leave the city and country where you live in the comments. This is not meant to display you before others, but to help you recognize that across the earth, many people are also awakening from self-doubt, learning to rise after seasons of being misunderstood, and rediscovering their true and beautiful identity. When people who once believed they were alone begin to recognize one another, a community of encouragement is formed. You do not need to reveal your entire private story. A small indication of where you are standing is enough to say that you are still present, still hopeful, and still willing to enter the next stage with an open heart. Now remain with me and do not scroll away too quickly, because what follows will help you recognize the person you are being called to become today. Once this truth has been placed before you, it will become difficult to continue living as though you had never known it. Yet before I expand upon it, you need to understand a truth that may illuminate the years behind you. It was not a coincidence that whenever you attempted to step beyond your former limitations, a wave of resistance appeared. It was not a coincidence that the moment you began believing in your abilities, voices of doubt became louder. Sometimes the opposition came through circumstances, sometimes through the judgments of others, and sometimes through thoughts that had quietly taken root within you long ago. Every time you prepared to move forward, those thoughts reminded you of old failures, old mistakes, and previous rejection, as though the past possessed the authority to write your future. Keep this truth in your heart. The strongest resistance often appears immediately before the place where you possess the greatest potential for growth. The strategy working against you does not always arrive through a dramatic event that is easy to recognize. It often works through small whispers repeated so frequently that you begin to believe they are your own voice. It tells you that you are not good enough, that your time has passed, that others are better suited, and that trying again will only cause greater disappointment. It causes you to delay an important step, reduce the size of your dreams to avoid being hurt, or remove yourself from a door before anyone else has the chance to open it. It does not need to defeat you in a single day. It only needs to persuade you to surrender small parts of yourself over many years. When you stop speaking what you believe, stop attempting new things, and no longer expect anything good, that silence gradually becomes an invisible cage. But I am speaking today to break this dangerous familiarity. You were not created to live forever as a version of yourself diminished by fear. You have learned enough from your falls, matured through your losses, and gained enough discernment to step away from words that no longer have authority over you. One of the greatest battles in your life has never been only about finances, status, relationships, or opportunities. It has been the battle to reclaim the way you see yourself. When your identity is shaken, every other area becomes easier to disturb. You may reject healthy love because you believe you are unworthy of it. You may overwork simply to prove your value. You may remain in an environment without respect because you believe you have no other choice. You may lose your direction because you use the praise or approval of others as the foundation of your confidence. Yet the truth about you is not determined by the unstable attitudes of people. It does not change according to success or failure, increase when you are praised, or decrease when you are misunderstood. Your genuine value is rooted more deeply than anything your circumstances can reach. Some people misunderstood your silence as weakness when you were merely trying to preserve peace. They saw your compassion and believed they could take advantage of it. They saw you forgive and assumed you had no boundaries. Circumstances also attempted to create a distorted image, causing you to believe that what happened to you was evidence of who you were. Because you were rejected, you assumed you were unworthy of being chosen. Because a relationship ended, you believed you were difficult to love. Because a plan failed, you labeled yourself incapable. But, my beloved child, what happened only describes one part of the road. It cannot define your entire being. One rainy season has no right to declare that the sky will remain dark forever. One fall cannot erase your ability to rise, and one uninformed judgment cannot change what I have seen within you. From the beginning, heaven has never been confused about your identity. You were chosen to live a meaningful life, called to preserve what is pure, and given the ability to carry light into places once covered in darkness. Words such as chosen, noble, holy, and set apart are not decorative language intended merely to make you feel special for a few minutes. They are reminders that your life carries responsibility. Being chosen does not mean you are higher than others. It means you must live with greater awareness. Being given dignity does not give you permission to become arrogant. It means you are no longer allowed to treat yourself with cruelty. Being set apart does not mean withdrawing from everyone. It means refusing to let distorted standards pull you away from the goodness you know you must preserve. Sacred identity is not declared only with the lips. It is revealed through how you behave when no one is watching, through your honesty when deception is available, and through your kindness when you could easily seek revenge. I do not call you chosen simply because the words sound beautiful. I call you chosen because there is a purpose within you that must be fulfilled, a work that no one else can completely perform in your place. There are people whom only you may be able to encourage because you have experienced pain similar to theirs. There are doors that open only when you bring the experience, sensitivity, and perspective Your personal journey has formed within you. The things that once made you cry may become the language through which you comfort others. The times you had to begin again may transform you into someone capable of guiding those who have lost direction. Even the weaknesses you once felt ashamed of may teach you humility and compassion. I waste no part of your story. What you once wanted to erase may become evidence that a person can still be renewed after seasons that seemed completely without hope. However, to enter that purpose, you must stop negotiating with words that weaken you. You cannot pray for an expanded future while continuing to repeat that you are not good enough. You cannot expect a new door while carrying every fear from the old room. Begin by observing the language you use when speaking about yourself. Every time you call yourself a failure, useless, or unworthy, you are watering a seed that should not remain. Instead of denying the areas that need improvement, speak with truth and compassion. You are still learning, you have made mistakes, but are changing. You have not yet reached your destination, but you are no longer standing where you began. Growth does not require you to pretend everything is perfect. It requires you to face the truth without using that truth as a weapon against yourself. From this moment forward, walk as someone who has remembered who they are. This does not require a dramatic performance. It begins through very small choices, keeping promises to yourself, leaving conversations devoted only to tearing others down, caring for your health, fulfilling your responsibilities, using the abilities you have been given, and no longer seeking approval from people determined to misunderstand you. When you encounter resistance, do not immediately conclude that you are walking in the wrong direction. Discern calmly. If the path is leading you toward honesty, growth, peace, and responsibility, continue even when your steps do not yet feel completely steady. You do not need to wait until every fear disappears. Some doors become clear only after you take the first step. My child, heaven has always seen you clearly. Even during the days when life caused your image of yourself to become blurred. I see the goodness you preserved after being wounded, the dreams you have not yet dared to speak aloud, and the stronger person gradually forming beneath the covering of self-doubt. The battle for your identity does not end when others change their opinion of you. It ends when you no longer give them the authority to decide who you are. Lift your head, not with pride, but with the peace of someone who understands their worth. You are called to step into the light, live with purpose, and become a source of support for people searching for their way. Do not allow the past to distort the image I have placed within you. You are not what someone said in anger, nor are you the failure of an old season. You are someone being renewed, trained, and prepared to live a life no longer guided by fear, but by discernment, compassion, and unwavering faith in the goodness I planted within you. My beloved child, I did not choose you because you were already the most capable. I chose you so that through every trial you would become stronger, wiser, and more mature than you once believed possible. There are moments when you look at yourself and see only what is missing. You see limited knowledge, insufficient experience, and shoulders that do not yet feel strong enough to carry the responsibility being placed upon them. You ask why it should be you, when so many others appear more talented, more confident, and more prepared. But you are looking through the standards of the world, while I look at the most genuine part of you. I do not measure you by achievements written on paper, applause, or public recognition. I see a heart, that still desires to do what is right when no one is watching, hands that remain willing to support others even when you are weary, and sincerity that you have preserved after being hurt. That is why you are called. Abilities can be trained, knowledge can be learned, and strength can grow over time. But a heart that is humble, willing to listen, and ready to follow guidance is the foundation upon which I can build something great. Therefore, do not wait until you feel perfect before beginning to move. The feeling of readiness rarely comes before the first step. It is formed after you have dared to go forward. I will teach you while you act, lift you when you fall, and expand your understanding as your responsibilities increase. What frightens you today will eventually become something you can do calmly. Places where you once felt lost will become places where you bring change. This will not happen because you suddenly become all-powerful, but because you learn not to depend entirely upon your own strength. When difficulty appears, I do not stand far away and watch you struggle alone. I am closer than you realize, becoming the place where you find calm amid chaotic noise, and the strength that appears precisely when you believe you cannot endure anymore. Your part is not to know everything in advance. Your part is to continue walking in faith, do well what is before you, and refuse to quit merely because the road is not yet fully illuminated. The season ahead will reveal many things that you could not previously recognize. A storm does not only shake what is visible, it also exposes the foundation beneath everything. When the weather is calm, a strong structure and a weak structure may appear almost identical. Only when powerful winds arrive does the difference become clear. In the same way, favorable seasons make the words of many people sound beautiful. But pressure reveals what they truly believe, truly value, and are genuinely willing to protect. Some people will exchange their principles because of fear, compromise what they once declared in order to be accepted, or become cold toward the call to awaken because they have lived in comfort for too long. Yet others will rise in the darkness, not to prove that they are above anyone else, but to prevent the lamp of truth from being extinguished. You are called to stand among them. Do not fear when separation becomes clear. What is genuine does not need to fear being tested, because trials only reveal its value more deeply. What is false becomes frightened when light arrives, because it survived through concealment and performance. Faith cannot be merely an object placed in a corner and reached for only when every other option has failed. Nor is it a beautiful garment worn for others to see while there is no connection, transformation, or loyalty within. Genuine faith is revealed through very small choices. Remaining honest when deception appears more convenient. Remaining kind when you have reasons to become bitter, and keeping your word when no one can force you to be accountable. These quiet things create a strong foundation. When the storm comes, you will not need to run everywhere searching for support, because the sincere way you lived beforehand has already built a place within you where you can stand. For this reason, this is not the time to live superficially toward your purpose. You cannot treat the calling within your heart as a hobby to pursue only when convenient, and abandon whenever life becomes busy. Important days require you to be fully present, know what you stand for, and refuse to let distractions pull you away from the right road. People without a foundation panic easily when several pressures appear at once. Difficulty in a relationship may cause them to doubt their worth. Financial instability may cause them to lose direction, and a season of exhaustion may convince them that the future has closed. When the inner life is neglected, every outward noise becomes a threat. But you were not called to live like a leaf carried by every wind. You were called to rise, keep your heart clear, and remember that circumstances may change, but your identity is not determined by circumstances. I am not saying that you will never feel tired, nor am I telling you to pretend to be strong in every moment. There will be days when you need to pause, rest, and admit that you are under pressure. That honesty is not weakness. The danger is not that you feel exhausted, but that you allow exhaustion to convince you that you have been abandoned. Remember that as responsibility increases, your endurance will also expand. When the road becomes steeper, the help available to you does not decrease. Grace is not a distant idea. It is the ability to rise one more time when you believed you could not. The clarity that appears when your mind is confused, and the arm that lifts you from the place where you fell. I do not promise that every burden will disappear immediately, but I assure you that you will not carry them alone. The covenant I placed upon your journey is not broken by difficult seasons. Disturbances do not possess the authority to cancel what I began. You may not yet see the results, but silence does not mean absence. During the months when you believed nothing was changing, I was strengthening the foundation, healing hidden cracks, and removing habits that could have caused you to collapse when you entered greater responsibility. You often pray to be lifted higher, but before lifting you, I must make your feet strong enough to stand. You ask to receive more, but before placing something great into your hands, I must teach you to manage what is small with faithfulness. Preparation may sometimes feel like delay, but it is protection, preventing something good from arriving too early and becoming a burden you are not yet ready to carry. During this same time, mercy is reaching those who wandered away from the path of light. Some were once deeply devoted, but became cold because of disappointment. Some were wounded by wrongdoing and turned away from everything they once believed. Some searched for peace through success, relationships, or recognition, yet felt increasingly empty the more they pursued them. I am not standing and waiting for them to return so that I can condemn them. I am calling them gently, arranging encounters, reminders, and opportunities for them to pause before traveling too far. What has been broken can still be restored. What has grown cold can still be rekindled. Someone who has lost direction can still find the way home if they remain willing to open their heart to the truth. You also have a part in that restoration. Your light was not given so that you could stand above others, but so that someone who has lost their way can see that a path still remains. Shine through peace rather than arrogance, and through compassion rather than judgment. When others panic, your steadiness may remind them that hope has not disappeared. When others become bitter, the way you preserve purity within your heart may prove that pain does not have to make someone cold. When they return after making mistakes, do not use their past to humiliate them. Maintain boundaries and wisdom, but also allow mercy to have a voice. I was patient with you during your process of growth, so offer appropriate patience to those who are learning how to begin again. My beloved child, your time is not coming so that you can boast or seek applause. You are being lifted so that you can become a source of light, strengthened so that you can become a place of refuge, and taught so that you can guide others with humility. Do not say that you are not enough, because I know what I have placed within you. Do not turn back merely because a storm is approaching. because it is within the storm that your foundation will be revealed. Rise with genuine faith, live deeply according to the purpose you have received, and keep your heart close to me. What you still lack will be added along the road. What remains weak will be trained. What has been broken will be restored. You were not chosen because you were already perfect. You were chosen because I know who you can become when you stop doubting yourself and courageously follow my guidance.